Welcome to the world of Coventry Paranormal and the third of our 5 videos looking into famous mysteries that over time, either through thorough investigation or through a confession, have been solved. So sit back, relax and enjoy. And remember that you can join us either via our YouTube site, where we have a number of our own investigation videos for you to look at, or you can contact and chat with us via our Facebook, Google+, or Twitter pages. So, without further ado, let's move on, and in this episode we take a look at the famous, or infamous, surgeon's photograph. Since man has been able to talk, and more importantly tell stories, there have been tales of monsters and strange beasts that lurk in the darkness, every now and then making themselves visible and showing themselves to people. Some of these myths and legends survive into modern times. And unless you've been in outer space for the last 75 years or so, you should have heard of the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie as she's become fondly known as. What you may not know is that the modern Nessie myth started in 1933, when a young couple driving along the road that runs along the north shore of the loch spotted what they called an enormous animal swimming in the loch. The Inverness Courier got hold of the story and, in typical newspaper fashion, described the couple's sighting as having seen a monster. And so the legend of Nessie was born, and Nessie fever took hold of the nation. Later, that same year, the Daily Mail newspaper jumped on the Nessie bandwagon by hiring a famous big game hunter called Marmaduke Wetherall to travel to Loch Ness and find the creature. Although he was unable to find Nessie itself, Wetherall claimed to have found monster tracks by the side of the loch leading into the water. But when these tracks were examined by scientists from the Natural History Museum, they actually discovered that the tracks had in fact been made with a dried hippo foot. Later, a hippo foot holding a silver ashtray was found to belong to the Wetherall family, and it's believed that it was this gruesome artefact that Marmaduke used to fake the Nessie footprints. Having been humiliated, Marmaduke Wetherall retreated from public limelight. A few months later, on the morning of April the 19th, 1934, Colonel Robert Wilson, respected British gynaecologist, claimed to have snapped a photo of the monster. He said that he was driving by the loch when he saw something moving in the water, so he quickly stopped his car, grabbed his camera and took 4 photographs. When developing, 2 were overexposed, 1 was found to be blurred, but the other one appeared to show a creature with a long neck and a small head on the surface of the loch. It was this photo that was published in the Daily Mail on the 21st of April 1934. Wilson, strangely enough, refused to put his name to the photo, and that's why it became known worldwide as the surgeon's photo. Right from the beginning, opinion was divided, with believers claiming that this was absolute proof for the existence of a monster in Loch Ness, while sceptics claimed it to be everything from a piece of driftwood to a swimmer doing the front crawl, an otter, a seabird. It was even suggested that it was an elephant from a travelling circus that had been taking a dip in the loch. And so it remained until 1984, when an article appeared in the British Journal of Photography by Stuart Campbell. Having studied the photograph in some detail, he concluded that after studying ripples and shadows, the object in the water could be at most only 3 feet long, continuing that, as sceptics had claimed for years, it was more likely to be an otter or some kind of a marine bird. But he even went as far to say that Wilson probably knew this when he took the photograph. And so the debate raged on. More photos being taken by people claiming to have seen Nessie. Then, in 1994, just before he died at the age of 90, Christian Spurling, who was the stepson of Marmaduke Wetherall, made a confession. He told how his stepfather had been left feeling rather angry at the Daily Mail for the ridicule he received about the hippofoot incident, so, along with his stepbrother Ian Wetherall, Maurice Chambers, an insurance agent, and Robert Wilson, Marmaduke Wetherall had decided to take his revenge. Sperling remembered his stepfather angrily saying, "If they want a monster, we'll give them a monster." So they brought a toy submarine from the Woolworths department store, modelled a neck and head, and then stuck it on top of the submarine. After testing it on a pond, the group went to the loch where Ian Weatherall took the photographs. While they were doing this, they were actually approached by a water bailiff, so to hide what they were doing, Marmaduke put his foot on the model to hide it below the water. Later, Chambers gave the photo to Wilson to develop. After this had been done, Wilson contacted the Daily Mail to tell his fabricated version of events and hand over the picture. Even after this confession, some today still claim that Sperling lied, and the surgeon's photo shows a real animal that most believe to be a plesiosaur, a long-necked aquatic reptile that went extinct with the dinosaurs. The only thing that we can say for sure is that until the loch is completely drained of water, and I can't really see that happening soon, both believers and skeptics alike will continue to debate the existence of Nessie. And if Nessie is there, she'll continue to hide, and every now and then popping her head up to poke her nose at passers-by. Well, thank you for watching, and we hope that you enjoyed this look behind the surgeon's photograph. Don't forget, by going onto our YouTube page, you can see the first 2 episodes in this series. Episode 1, which looks at the Fox sisters and the history of spiritualism. Episode 2, which looks at the Cottingley fairies. You can also see our top 10 proof captured by CPI whilst on an investigation, along with other investigation videos for you to have a look at. Don't forget, you can also contact us via our Facebook page, our Twitter page, and our G+ page. So, until next time, when we'll be looking at the famous photograph of the girl in the flames taken as Wem Town Hall in Shropshire burnt to the ground, I'll say goodbye and thank you.